Welcome guys to Kokoda's factory. Standing out here on the floor, we're here to look at our battery management system and just talk through some of the elements. So we're doing all of our management systems here. We've partnered with 𝒃 for all parts of it, and we've put a full system together. So we're going to go through some of those pieces today. So let's get into it. Let's start with batteries. So our main two batteries we're using is a 150 amp and a 300 amp battery. Both go on the outside of the van. There's no need to have these inside the van, so it doesn't use up any of your space. These can go in battery boxes, and as you can see, 300 amps, 150 amps, almost the same size, which is great. That means we don't have different size battery boxes. You can put, in our standard 2 battery boxes, we can have 2 300 amps, we can add an extra one, and it can actually take a third battery, so you have 900 amps on the van. Other things to talk about these batteries, so they're a fully sealed battery, which means that they're IP67, and the BMS, which talks to your mobile phone, is Bluetooth. So there's no electrical fittings on the outside of this other than the terminals that talk to your BMS, hence why they can be IP67. Then we start to talk about our board. Now, the problems we face in caravan land and all throughout the industry is how well these things are laid out and how well they meet demand. So what we mean by demand is you using the power through your inverters and 12 volt. We need to match these systems really closely and well together. So Victron is excellent systems, and we use 𝒃 that marry all those things together, and they've designed a system for us. So let's get into that. If we talk about our power coming out, we've got buzz bars that tie all this stuff together. We're using a fuse set. Further to that, there's more in the overheads of your caravans that break down all that power for its uses. We've got the servo with a 5-inch screen. It's about really controlling our battery management system well. In the case of our DC to DC, we've got a 30 amp DC to DC, 50 amp on board as per normal. This one we set if you've got 3 panels at 200 watts of solar. If you move up to more than 3, which would be using about 33 amps of this capacity, we would move then to a second MPPT at 50 amps as well. So then you can run the 4th panel, you can run a Blue Anderson to have more inputs. Another great part of the Victron system is as you're traveling down the road, both of these systems, so being the DC to DC, taking the power from your vehicle, and the solar is both charging the battery, which is really, really good. So when we talk about the batteries and this system, inverters and so on and so forth, the inverter has a 120 amp capacity of charge. That is married really, really well for this. So we're able to put every ounce that this battery can take, we're always ramping that up into those higher limits, which is excellent. Our panels are about 10, 11 amps at 200 watts, the panels. A good quality panel, properly spaced up off the caravan roof with its own brackets. Important things about standard is the MC4 connectors. These are supplied both by the panel supplier and so the loom comes in to use. These connections are where a lot of the standards came in about heat and stuff like that. So by buying the same brand and the same assembly off them, it's quite the improvement on what was done in industry in general. So if you use a heat map on this will be cold because they're actually made for each other. Whereas if you're using 2 different types of NC4 connectors, problems arise. So now we're on top of the roof of the caravan. Some important things to talk about here. Firstly is we've got so much room on the roof. In 24 models, we've changed the shape of the roof, so we now go straight all the way out to the end. This enables to have more real estate on the roof available for solar, and this is what's important to us. We spoke about the looms. Here we got our brackets and how we're bringing them down onto there. So we're bonding the bracket down to it. This bracket comes from the panel supplier, so all the spacings are set. The distance that the panel has from the roof to here is about allowing air through. The hotter this panel gets, the less efficient it is. So back up on another roof, here we've got the MC4 connectors from that loom. And here you can see how we bring the wires through the roof. So this box, before it's put down, is sealed down, and then we seal around it, and we've got proper glands to close that up. This is the most common place that caravans leak because this will be underneath your panel. So you can't see it, you can't check it, you don't know that it's leaking. But in this case, as you can see, we really put a lot of effort into the right fittings, the right way of doing it. this is how you'd fit them off commercially. So now we're inside the van and we've got our wiring coming down. So solars are coming into here, resettable fuses, all really great quality equipment. We're using the patch panel, so these are all resettable fuses, and the quality wiring at the back is all neat and tidy. All of this feeds down into our system. We aim to have it underneath the lounge or underneath the bed, depending on the model, depending where all this can fit. So as you can see, you know, conduits around everything, neat, tidy, absolutely Mickey Mouse work. Where it really helps, you know, against what's happening out in industry is we're providing a really good platform. So now the electricians are just wiring to this board and it's setting out how we work. So with compliance, you've really got to focus on what's important, and a battery isolation switch. This is new to our standard, new what's been done in vans, but have a look at the scale of some of this stuff. It's important that our battery cables running down and lights are suitable for the size amperages, all calculated on the distance to the batteries, and you start to see the connections like this and how good it is. I hope this video has helped people to understand the BainTech system using Victron componentry in Kokoda's Caravans. We've really upped our game in this respect, and I think the industry needs to keep going. We're looking to evolve this further and further and working on it every day to make our systems electrically better and for our customers to enjoy all over the country. Thanks, see you later.